Hey there guys, welcome back to another awesome video, and today's movie review is going to be a special one because today's movie review is going to be of Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. I feel like a lot of the public knows what this movie is, but this is the third movie in the Star Wars saga, in the Star Wars franchise. This is the third prequel, and this showcases the rise of the Empire, but the fall of the Republic. So this is written and directed by the legendary George Lucas, who's done 6 of his Star Wars movies. He hasn't done the sequel trilogy, but he at least did the original trilogy, and he's done the prequel trilogy. And I mean, what is there really to say about this? Performances are top-notch, they're great, they're off the charts, off the walls. This has a fantastic opening sequence. This launches you into the action right out of the gate. And I know a lot of the Star Wars movies does that, but there's something about Revenge of the Sith, like after the crawl, it just launches you into this epic ship battle with explosions. And I feel like that scene and this movie entirely is both intentionally funny, but also unintentionally funny.
What was that all about?
Well, R2 has been...
no loose wire jokes.
Did I say anything?
He's trying.
I didn't say anything.
And the countless of iconic moments this movie has, and of course the memes, you can't not mention the memes, especially this one right here.
Hello there.
General Kenobi! You are a bold one. Back away! I will deal with this Jedi slime myself!
Your move.
Though this is unintentionally funny / intentionally funny, I think now looking back on this movie and rewatching it after I don't know how many years, but really analyzing and really thinking and breaking down this movie, I do feel the tragedy in this film because, of course, not only the rise of the Empire and the fall of the Republic and the fall of the Jedi Order and everything that we all believed and stood for, but yes, everything that Anakin believed and stood for fell to the ground. Each party of democracy has its own rise and fall where the politicians, it's like, okay, they're doing great. The Chancellor has a point of view that's understandable, but yet he might be wrong. And then the Jedi are also perceived as they have the right intentions, but also have wrong actions as well. So it really does put you at odds with each point of view and with each standpoint, kind of elevating the whole fight with Obi-Wan and Anakin saying, from my point of view, the Jedi are evil. Speaking of that, we can't forget the betrayal that Anakin goes through. Of course, Obi-Wan goes through betrayal and everyone else goes through betrayal because obviously everyone has their own moments of feeling betrayed. Obviously, Padme and her emotions for Anakin, and Obi-Wan's feelings towards Anakin because how much he's like his best friend, his brother, his Padawan, all these things that Anakin meant to him. But also the betrayal of Anakin being seduced by the dark side and succumbing to the dark side and being consumed by the dark side, becoming one of the most infamous and most iconic movie villains of all time, Darth Vader. Also, a moment I really do want to highlight is the Darth Plagueis scene for so many reasons and so many levels, because I've noticed there's like multiple layers of this scene and that really deserve to be worth mention. One, of course, is the meme, because everyone's memed this to death, everybody's quote this to death. The second is how much the Emperor is using this as a ways to seduce and manipulate Anakin to join the dark side, which Ian McDiarmid plays phenomenally, with him using this as a story and as a pawn to be like, hey, there's a power more greater the Sith have that the Jedi don't have, and it could help you in the long run, Anakin. Third thing is possibly, of course, this reflecting on maybe this is a story that Palpatine is familiar with because maybe he was the apprentice that actually killed Darth Plagueis. Almost how ironically foreshadowing this sounds, the fact that you have a apprentice that kills his own master. That sounds a little familiar. An apprentice that becomes more powerful than his master to the point where he kills his own master. Where have we seen that before? Stuff like that I really do understand and really do appreciate when George Lucas does say things like a poem, it's like rhyming, it's symmetry, and all these things. And it's so genius, it's so perfect. Also the notion of knowing that all this stuff is going down while this is happening during Clone Wars is still actually breathtaking, actually jaw-dropping. The music goes hard in every scene it's in. I mean, that's to be expected with John Williams, but there's something so amazing about each sequence with the music, and even without the music, especially the lightsaber sequences. So many great and phenomenal lightsaber sequences, especially this iconic shot right here. And I could go on and on and on about Star Wars and all sort of stuff, but now the other reason why this is special is because I have my second party going to share his thoughts. He is a great movie reviewer, a legend. He's a really cool guy over at RavenOSFan. I think it's 86. I'm pretty sure. I always forget the number. I always just refer to him as his actual name or RavenOSFan. But take it away, Ryan.
What's going on, Andrew and all of Andrew's subscribers? My name is Ryan and I run a channel called RavenOSFan89. I do unboxings, vlogs, physical media hauls, and movie reviews. So if you're interested in that, definitely hit that subscribe button. Today, Andrew invited me on to talk to you guys about Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. And if you guys don't know me, I have not seen many Star Wars films. I've only seen Phantom of the Menace, Attack of the Clones, and now Revenge of the Sith. I did like Phantom of the Menace, Attack of the Clones, not so much, but this new one, I will say, out of the trilogy, this is my favorite one by far. I like how the film starts out, we're in space, you got the missiles going, people shooting at each other and everything, the score's going on, which is great, by the way. The score is always good throughout the first 3 movies that I've watched now, and it's very consistent throughout, so it's great to hear that each time we go to the next film. Now, when they get on the ship to General Grievous, they are fighting him, they got the lightsabers going, they got one guy that gets decapitated, I think his name is Dooku, I completely forgot his name, but I think that's what his name was. And this whole battle scene, it's really great, you have a really good start to the film. The ship ends up crash landing, they go on this planet, and you find Anakin actually reuniting with Natalie Portman, I think her name is Padme, if I'm not mistaken. We find out that she is pregnant, and then we find out a little bit about this Chancellor guy. He's not exactly what he seems, and he's trying to recruit Anakin on the dark side. And when this guy actually goes full throttle and he goes to be a villain, I was just like, wow, this guy is very menacing. There's a part 2 where they have this fight scene, and Samuel L. Jackson gets his arm cut off, and I was like, damn, he gets shafted, he gets thrown into space. And it was just a really fun time just watching this unfold. When the Chancellor actually instructs them to do Order 66 and you have the clone troopers actually attacking the Jedi generals across the galaxy, that's when everything really hits the fan. You have the Jedis actually being casted out as traitors. You have the Chancellor that makes himself the Emperor, and everything really starts to go really haywire. You have a lot of different fights going on. You have Obi-Wan Kenobi and Anakin when they have their final fight. I was just like, this is great. I really did enjoy that. And also learning around the final time of what actually happens in that battle and who actually gets made Darth Vader. It all clicked to me as to why Darth Vader says, "I'm your father," because I had no clue. So now that I know that, it all clicks in my head as to why he says that line, because I've always known that line actually exists, but didn't really know what it actually connected to. So that was great to actually finally know. So now I know, and as far as negatives for this film, I have just a couple. Now, I think some of the scenes are a little bit cartoony, specifically when they're in space. Some of the fight scenes in the backgrounds, they're a little bit outdated. But to be really quite frank, this was filmed, I think, around 2005, 2006. So the technology isn't all the way there, but it isn't bad. It definitely is not bad. It feels like it is kind of a real kind of setting where they're actually at, but you can definitely tell at times it is a little bit too cartoony. And some of the villains, especially when they're in space, there was one of the villains, I think it was Grievous, that he just looks a little bit too cartoony to me. Kind of like if you're watching a cartoon and you have all the live action characters and then you have a little bit of cartoony characters kind of around. So negative on that for sure. And then my big negative is Natalie Portman playing Padme. I just don't think she's very good as an actress here. I think throughout this whole franchise that I've seen so far with her in it, I don't think she's done a very good job. And there's a few scenes where some of her lines I was just like, this is pretty cringe. I don't really think she's doing a very good job here. And some of her scenes definitely took me out of the film. But overall, I was really focused on this film. I felt like they did a really good job with pacing. It is over 2.5 hours. But overall, it was a fun time and I really did enjoy it. So I would give it a score of 3.5 out of 5. Back to Andrew. Let everybody know what you thought about this movie.
Now, there's one thing I will kind of at least admit. It's not the biggest nitpick, but I have a small nitpick. But just when the sequence you have with after Darth Sidious have killed Mace Windu, Darth Sidious then just goes up to Anakin and just calls him Darth Vader.
Henceforth, you shall be known as Darth Vader.
Okay, but why, Master? I don't understand the significance.
I don't know, it just sounds pretty fucking cool to me.
Other than that, I'm gonna give Revenge of the Sith, I'm going to give it a solid A. So Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, what do you guys think of it? Do you like it? Do you hate it? Let me know in the comment section down below. And thank you to Ryan for showing up and collabing with me on this. And thank you guys so much for watching. As always, if you like the video, please smash the like button. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe. We also videos every day, if not every week. Make sure you ring that bell to new videos every day, if not every week. Share the video with any friends, all that good stuff and more. Leave some suggestions down in the comments. You name it, I'll look to do as best as possible. Also, let me know what you guys are doing for May the 4th. I'm really curious, and what also maybe mention your favorite Star Wars movie. Actually, you know what? Let me know in the comment section down below. Let me know your favorite Star Wars meme, or specifically your favorite Revenge of the Sith meme. Let me know down below. There's gonna be all sorts of stuff for May in terms of movie reviews, top 10s, all that good stuff, and plenty more as always. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you next time, and may the Force be with you. Always.